from the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today, I'm very pleased to have with me Bobby Nims, who is joining me live. Of course, you will be seeing the recording, but Bobby, the way I like to do it is I keep it to the guests to introduce themselves because no one can introduce anyone better than themselves. So the floor is yours.
All right, Mohammed, I really appreciate that. So for my audience, my name is Bobby Nims. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lonch, a crowdfunding platform that provides the opportunity for people with ideas to move their ideas forward. So essentially, if you think about any kind of idea, whether it's culinary or park and recreation or technology or sports or leisure, people can come to our platform with their ideas and connect to people with the right skills to move their idea forward, and possibly eventually bring their idea to market and make an income and make money in perpetuity. So Launch is basically the platform that brings people together. It's a home for big and small ideas, and it's a crowdfunding platform that provides everyone the opportunity without capital, with access to possibly achieve their dreams, to possibly work on things that they're passionate about. And we're genuinely excited about kind of eliminating the walls and barriers for people who don't necessarily have the time or even know where to start with their idea to bring their idea forward and validate it within the community and possibly make it happen.
That's great. Fantastic. Just out of curiosity, Bobby, are you open for anyone around the globe or just is it currently in the US?
Yeah. So right now our app is actually launching later this month, and it's United States based only. We have a number of just expansion plans internationally in the upcoming years. We're starting here based in the United States, and if you think about it, it's not just technology. It's all verticals. So from our perspective, people with skills, maybe it's in marketing or patents or business law. They didn't necessarily can't go to a Fiverr or Upwork, but they can come to Launch. And conversely, people with ideas or non-technology ideas, again, they can come to Launch as well. So we're really excited, and we're going to start here in the United States and hopefully expand internationally in the next few years.
That's great. So I believe you have a journey yourself, Bobby, with the startups and entrepreneurship. So if you can just tell me what actually was the motivation to start the Launch.
Yeah, so predominantly it was through my partner or co-founder, Christopher Gulliver. He's had this idea for 20 plus years. And I've had a number of different sort of startups, more kind of nonprofit, more in the philanthropy sort of space that have been sometimes challenging, but also successful at the same time. And for me, I think the motivation sort of is driven behind that everyone should have the opportunity. So from my perspective, you shouldn't necessarily need to have a business degree, know how to write a business plan, be able to pitch, have money in your pocket to spend and invest when you don't have the money necessarily. And I think about not only maybe Gen Z and college, university students at a crossroad between continuing to work on their idea and heading to a 9 to 5, but I also think about the single mom or the single dad with 4 kids working 2 jobs, or the retiree who just, maybe served in the military and worked in a distribution or factory for 40 plus years, but has always had this idea that they really wanted to explore, but never have had the time. So for me, it's always about kind of uplifting others and also, I think, enabling others to find their happiness to live a more autonomous life, to do the things that they want to do. And so for me, the motivation behind Launch is really helping others. And I think from our perspective, when the Launch platform, stood up and our app is out there, it's going to change a lot of people's lives, because I think a lot of people have ideas and dreams around what they want to do, and Launch can be a home for them.
That's great to hear. And actually, you made me excited because I know a lot of people who, they have dreams about starting something, but they don't have the means to get it up and running. So that's really great, Bobby. Now, but from your experience, of course, like there should be like a bare minimum, let's say, for an idea to be, valid to be a successful startup. So what you can like give some hints for people who might be joining later on your platform. What are the bare minimum, let's say, that they need to keep in mind when they want to bring their ideas into a full-fledged startup?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Launch helps you start there. A lot of people don't even know where the starting line is for their idea. And so, if you were to download our app and you're on your phone, you'd start with your own product page. So whether you're coming in to possibly bring your skills and contribute to products, or you have your idea, you basically create a product page on our marketplace. And that product page is really simple. And basically, once you create that product page around what the product is, what possible problem or solution are you providing or solving, a description around that product and what you need, we make it really simple at Launch, actually, where we don't look at your help or necessarily people as jobs. We look at the opportunities as skills, and we actually call them hats. So you
Hmm.
may have an idea, let's say, for a biodegradable picnic basket, which is actually somebody had, shared with me 2 days ago, and they want to invent a picnic basket that basically you go hiking with it, and then you can leave the picnic basket. It just biodegrades into the earth. It's eco friendly and it's good for the earth, and they just don't want to carry it back down. They go on these really long hikes and they want to do something nice or a nice kind of family dinner or sort of some kind of picnic, and they want to leave the basket. And so
Hmm.
the person doesn't know plasticity for the basket. They don't necessarily know patents around what the basket could be. They don't have any skills or possibly knowledge around distribution of the basket, marketing the basket, right? So they would create that page for that biodegradable basket, and they would talk about the why and sort of the passion behind it. And then they would start to list off these hats. Basically, hey, listen, does anyone have any experience with picnic baskets, or has anyone have any experience in, how do you patent an idea for a picnic basket or things like that? So at Launch, we make it really, really simple for people to come on with ideas. It could be a new type of soccer ball. It could be possibly a new. We came across a student yesterday who was talking about an app to make vending machines more technological, that would manage the inventory, manage the space of vending machines, because vending machines are archaic. You put in your money and you take out the bag of chips. And what they're saying is, well, I have an app now to manage the inventory, to order seamlessly the distribution of those products, to get those products delivered to the vending machine. So we come across ideas from people, from parents, from 9 to 5s all the time. And we say, your starting point's here. There's a home for you here with your idea. So to answer your question, Emmett, it's really any idea. And Launch provides that path forward for that idea, to move that idea forward. And we, as part of our process, help the idea eventually become a product. The product becomes an LLC, sort of just in time, and then it goes to market. And so we really kind of help really guide that person through that process, to help them be successful.
So,
At
so you provide the know-how basically to them, right, Bobby?
Exactly. So if you're familiar with like a legal Zoom, or you're
Hmm.
familiar with like, some of those types of platforms, imagine coming to one platform and it has all the tools and resources to provide you exactly what you need to bring your idea where it needs to go.
That's perfect. Amazing. Now, but in general, like, whether it's a product or a service or maybe an innovation, right? So you need to have also a way to push it to the market. And from your experience, like what are the best way to take a product to the market?
Yeah, so it's just your willingness to share your product and idea, right? So I think a lot of times people are more conservative, or they tend to be probably more risk averse in terms of sharing their idea and product. And we say like you embrace collaboration, you embrace market validation, right? And that's launch, right? So it's the willingness to share your idea and actually have your idea validated by the community, have your idea validated and worked on with others, right? So from that perspective, especially for entrepreneurs and founders, there is a passion around what you're trying to bring, and I would say like that is a time to not be afraid, right? I think just from the perspective of like um, you want to be able to share it, right? So from that perspective, I think sometimes founders, entrepreneurs are sometimes skittish of, well, it's not perfect. Or, I don't know how this is going to be handled, or, what do I think of when I receive criticism, right? Or nobody buys my product, right? And we look at that at launch as just like embracing who you are, but also opportunities, right? So from that perspective, every single point milestone within your own sort of path as an entrepreneur product is basically we are where you're supposed to be. Right. So from that journey perspective, like you are where you are supposed to be. Right. And failure is part of that, but also validating in the marketplaces as well. And so launch, if you think about, in the next 12 to 36 months of having 50, 100, 250,000 users, there's going to be an entire community and marketplace to validate your product. And we think that when people are able to understand your product, they can provide the feedback you need, be the customer voice that you need to help shape and evolve your product as well. So I'll kind of pause, but I think to answer your question, it's adaptability and agility with your product. And
Hmm.
obviously, until you evolve your product and continue to evolve your product, that's just going to be ongoing, just as much as it is with change, right? As an entrepreneur or founder, right? So, yeah, those are things to think about. I think if you're thinking about bringing your idea or product to market, and not be afraid, and just embrace the customer voice, because that voice should influence what you're building.
Absolutely. And that's a good point that you can validate very fast, instead of being, as they say, being stuck in a rabbit hole and trying to say, okay, is it something that people will buy or is it something that it's worth to build? So it's a nice idea. Now, it's a crowdfunding platform for you, Launch, right? So people usually, and I ask this question a lot, and because you've been in this for a long time, Bobby. Um, because people, when they think about startup, they think about two ways of doing things. So either they think about, to bootstrap the business, try to put their own money, or they think, oh, I should go to investors and I should go to angel investors and
Right.
VCs. Now, crowdfunding has been here, I mean, for a while, but what do you think, the role of crowdfunding would play in the new startups
Yeah.
that are coming up? Because people are fed up with these VCs and and all this stuff. So, what is your view on this part?
So, man, I got to introduce a new term for you. It's called founding. So FOUNDING. Launch
Oh,
a founding platform. So from our perspective, we totally agree with what you're saying, right? So from our perspective is, why should somebody have to pitch in front of a VC investor in Silicon Valley? Why do I need to drive to this hedge fund group to raise this capital, right? It just seems like the process is completely broken. And here at Launch, we absolutely agree. We say to you that bringing people in at the right time increases the likelihood of success. Bringing people in who are just as passionate about what you're doing increases the likelihood of success. Getting paid based upon the value that you deliver in perpetuity when the product is successful is, I think, a lot of people would welcome that. And obviously, here at Launch, we're on a Web 3.0 sort of stack technology with blockchain. And through our royalty token structure, that's exactly essentially what's happening. So we're really excited about that piece. To answer your questions, absolutely. So I think that the kind of the movement towards the investment groups, I think, is kind of shifting and repositioning. The newer, younger generation, Gen Z, wants autonomy. They want to work on what they want, where they want, when they want, and actually, they want to do it on their phone, right? Where they want, right? So from our perspective, the 9 to 5 over the next 5 to 10 years will slowly start to pivot towards a crowd sort of founding based experience. It'll transition from obviously an office setting to a setting of hiking, the setting being on a beach, the setting being with a family. It's going to shift from you receive that biweekly check in your checking account to now you're getting paid substantially in perpetuity year over year for a product that you contributed to years ago, right? Based upon the value that you brought. So, our perspective is very similar to it. Like, we think the days of the investment group, hedge fund group, yeah, they'll obviously continue moving forward. But we also think there's a significant population of people who will never have that opportunity. And additionally to that, a lot of investment groups aren't going to invest in a product that has a lifetime value of a few $1,000,000. It's not worth it. But for somebody or for a group of 4 people or for a family, if a product was going to make a few $1,000,000 over the course of 20 years, that's still a significant amount of money. So we think from a market perspective, like a total addressable market, like for products, particularly under $5 million, they have no chance of getting any type of surface with an investment group. Where at Launch, we would love to have you, right? We think there's an opportunity for any idea, whether it's worth $1 or $100 million, right? So I'll kind of pause, but hopefully that gives you a little more sense about Launch, kind of our philosophy. And then as we think about removing those barriers, what a crowdfunding type of platform would provides versus more of a crowdfunding type of conversation experience.
That's amazing. And, let me be very honest, it's music to my ears because, like, I was told that it was not like directly related to what you do with Launch, but we were talking about AI. And,
Yeah.
I told my many guests on the podcast, not because AI only, but what I'm seeing more and more is that people want exactly what you mentioned, the autonomy. And I believe the future of work is not the what we see now. Actually, it started to shift because, and I want to ask you, like, is it only Gen Z who, like, are after being solopreneurs and, nomads and, have this autonomy? Is it something really only for Gen Z?
For everybody. In fact, I think when you think about it, I mean, so here at Launch, we get upwards of, I don't know, 10, 20 people a day, or so our app is around the corner, just reaching out. And, the interesting is when you apply for a job, there's a job description. And so if you've been coding or you've been in marketing or you've been in legal for 20 years, right, there's kind of a box, you're sort of boxed in, right? You can only do coding for your next job. You can only do marketing. You can only do business law. What if you have passion for graphic design? What if you're really, really good at illustrations? What if you're really, really good at writing children's books? Right. So from our perspective, like, again, we think that there is just enormous runway for the 9 to 5 outside of their jobs, not only to possibly work on products or bring their ideas that they're super passionate about, that gives them a sense of of life fulfillment and just the ability to do things that make them happy, but also make an income. Right. So for example, so for you, for example, let's say that you are, you're really good at, I don't know, compliance law. And there's a number of products that are really good at compliance. Well, you're a podcast host. All of a sudden, sometimes on the weekends, you're contributing to these products from a compliance perspective that if it's successful, generate more wealth for you, more wealth for your family. Right. And that leads to, life experience, life fulfillment, life happiness. Right. As well as you're helping a product that you're also passionate about be successful. Right. So, we think that there is enormous runway for the 9 to 5s. And I think there's a lot of people out there. We know there's a lot of people out there that just don't even know where to start. And when we go to like these hackathon events, the hackathons are these types of kind of fundraising competitions. They only award the top 3 winners. And those 3 winners get capital, they get resources, they get accolade, they get support, they get press. But what about the other 400 or 500 people who tried, right? And our message to them is, yes, you can. Our message is there's a home for you. And our message is keep moving your idea forward. Come to Launch, right? So I'll just kind of pause, but absolutely, thoroughly Gen Z. We think 9 to 5. We think retirees. We think at different types of events like hackathons. Like there's a home for you, there's a community for you. And even if your idea isn't something that's ready right now for the market, you can still bring your idea on. And when it is ready, or the right people come along who see the vision and see what the product needs, right? Then maybe that's the time as well. So I'll stop there, but we think even you have probably have ideas stemming from your childhood,
Oh,
your
a lot.
parents, that you can bring on our platform and absolutely try to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. How from community perspective, because you talked about community, like is it kind of um similar to a social media platform? I'm just curious, to understand
Yeah.
where people can collaborate. And because I know like building community is not easy. Bobby. It's something that needs dedication and needs time, but I can see the passion. But you have done it before, so um, how big are you planning to make this community?
Yeah. So if we think about our first 500 users versus the subsequent 5,000 versus the 50,000, right? Like, what does that look like and feel like? And obviously, we expect eventually it's just exponential and becomes a household name. So let me start with just kind of the user experience, customer experience. Like, it's very familiar, very similar to like what you'd see like on a LinkedIn kind of
Mhm.
combo, Facebook with like a Fiverr or Upwork. So you're gonna sense like the actual interface, our wireframe, end to end user kind of friendliness is all there. And within the tool, from program project management to financial management to collaboration, messaging, um, artifacts, strategy, decisions, it's all there within the app. So within the app itself, through obviously iteration after iteration, we'll have dozens of capabilities to actually drive moving an idea forward that you'd feel like with a startup that's with a group of people in the same room. So we're really excited about what the experience is going to be on our app for people. Um, from I guess kind of like you know the community, we do definitely do take steps, in terms of validating people who join. So it's not only, kind of just, sort of confirming who they are through email, but we will eventually have kind of voice or face recognition as well. It'll be really unique to this kind of crowdfunding type of space, where we're validating people for who they are. From our financial kind of reporting perspective, we, as part of Launch, kind of again are connected to all the reporting and financial reporting here in the States as well. And obviously driving kind of transparency, legitimacy, and trust, right? The sense of trust, like we trust Launch, we feel safe. The environment feels like it's conducive to collaboration and people. So there's obviously there that you build over time, right? And I think as you start to build successful products, and then you start to hear people's stories of changing their lives overnight through our platform, that's where I think then that grows, the community grows. So I'll kind of pause there, but in terms of the validation, we expect to have college students to elderly people, people in technology, non-technology, to people who have had an idea, have tried working on it unsuccessfully, to people have held on to an idea for themselves for a really long time, and they want to move something forward. We're going to expect to see a lot of people who work in their day job that are just eroded and tired. I'm like, I want to work on something that I enjoy working on. I'm going to go to Launch with the possibility of being paid in perpetuity. I have all these skills I used to have in college. I haven't touched in 20 years. I want to dust those off and go to Launch. So again, we see like a huge marketplace, suites and pages of product ideas, tens of thousands of people collaborating and connecting on our platform, a sense of community supporting, connecting, engaging. And that's why we feel like, honestly, from our perspective, like Launch is essentially going to be the next biggest market disruption as we think about startups and the entrepreneur community, because it's going to enable and kind of remove some of those barriers, whether it's capital or even where to start. So, kind of pause, but community will exponentially grow. Launch will take steps to help validate and drive trust. And then from there, really everything kind of happens on the platform.
That's fantastic, Bobby. Um, as we are close to the end, like, what's the advice you want to give? Because you mentioned fresh graduate students, and I like to ask this question from someone who got the experience and is passionate about, entrepreneurship. what you tell, whether they are Gen Z or whoever had an idea or whoever is dreaming to have a startup, what you tell them?
Don't give up. Whatever your idea is and whatever you're working on, there's a path forward for you. It might feel and look different, and where you land with your idea, it might evolve, obviously, to something that's different. But my message is don't give up. And there's no such thing as a linear path in life, and there's certainly no such thing as a linear path as an entrepreneur. And your path is going to be unequivocally different than every other entrepreneur. And you should embrace that and welcome that. And know that you're not alone. And there are a lot of reasons why startups don't succeed. And I think there's basically that line that says, are you going to continue your idea forward when it's really hard? When you don't feel the light, when you don't see the light of day, and you don't know where to go? Or are you going to try to find yourself and be sort of agile and just continue to energize and put your effort into trying to make material progress every day? So I'll kind of pause. It's easier said than done. Launch's app is still not there. We're literally like around the corner of being in the Apple store, but this has been years and years of sweat equity and just really hard work. So, and again, Launch may or may not be successful, right? And so at the end of the day, but follow your dreams, don't give up, and either way, regardless of the outcome of your idea, your life is going to be more fulfilling because you went down this path and trying.
I love this. I love this, Bobby. Where can they find about Lonch? What's the website? At least so
Yeah,
they
so
can know when it's ready.
Yeah, so Lonch, LONCH, you can go to www.launch.io. You can actually go find us on LinkedIn. We have a pretty substantial TikTok following now with this pink jacket. And then we have a kind of refresh podcast series as well, the Launch podcast. And you can literally really download or find us on any available platform. And I would say if you're listening to the podcast in a couple of weeks, September on, download our app and check it out.
Yeah, great. So I think this will go in the first week of September anyway. So
Oh, okay, great.
yeah. So just for I'm very transparent. So my audience, they know that I have some backlog. So yeah, guys. So this has been recorded mid of August, let's say, and I will make sure that I will put the links. I'm very excited to see the journey, Bobby, as well. And I love the way you mentioned about keep trying. Actually, I was on another group, today where everyone had a challenge to build something. Some of us failed. Some of us, they did small things. But the message, because they wanted to, like actually delete the group. And then I said, guys, don't do it, because you need to keep trying. As you
Right.
said, keep
Right.
trying. This is the
Right.
key word. It's a, I am always energized when I have guests like yourself, Bobby, who, mention these things, because we need to keep the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm also a believer that, yeah, like I'm not saying all the jobs will disappear all of a sudden, but yeah, 100%, like people will have more choices to achieve their dreams. And this is one of the main goal why I have this podcast. Yeah, I know it's called
Beautiful.
CTO. It's called CTO, but guys, yeah, I believe tech enables us as entrepreneurs to have a better destiny. Thank you very much, Bobby, for the time, and for the listeners, guys. As usual, if you have any questions, any feedback about this episode or the show in general, please reach out to me. You can find all my media handles in the uh, frame here. You can also send me a LinkedIn message if you want, where I'm more active. Also, if you are interested to be a guest, same like what we was today, don't hesitate. Reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to arrange for that. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll meet again in the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech-savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.